Okay, today we did the second part of writing, which I actually recorded before, but I forgot to do the screen share. So here's the screen share of writing. Okay, so what we covered today was this one, slide share. Start. So we looked at how writing is different to speaking, and that it's more formal, and that there's less ellipses or left out parts. There's more hesitations, there's more fillers, and usually not always grammatically correct. We looked at how people write in different languages. So we write left to right, but right to left is these languages. And how to form letters is this YouTube. And the subject, verb, object, we looked at 75% are subject, verb, object. But there are some languages that do the verb at the end. For example, Japanese and Hindi. So verb, subject, object also exists in those languages. There's a verb, object, subject. There's only two that have the subject, object, and verb, Japanese, Hindi. And then we looked at various writing tasks. And some languages don't have capital letters. For example, this one here, Arabic, Farsi. And how we can engage students to do some writing with this sort of stuff for lower levels. I always have the topic sentence, supporting sentence, concluding sentence. And then we looked at essays for upper levels. So you can find sites that have essays, and there's websites you can go to with more literacy ideas. Then we talked about games we can do, like writing, Pictionary, pass around story, consequences, fill in the blanks. Any sort of excuse really to write something for Mother's Day, birthdays, Christmas, or have a pen pal system with another school and read the same books. So you have guided readers we talked about last week, so you could write about what you've read if everyone's read the same book. And using whiteboards, maybe yes, no questions. If everyone has yes, of course you can't erase it, you show, and then you're still in the game. Eventually one person wins. Vocabulary challenges are like taboo game where one person will say, you got to get them to choose this word in your team, but you can't actually say the word, and the first in your team to choose the word, to write the word correctly. And it has to be within 5 minutes, for example. And the words, the vocab taken from your end of unit glossary list. Comic strip where you write the dialogue, guess who. So you can describe someone and the first person to write down who it is or describe an action without doing it wins. That's how you play consequences, where you take the paper, pass it around, everyone writes a little bit. So you tell them a boy's name, pass. Met a girl's name, pass. At the place, and then pass. And they did first action, pass. And then the second action they did, pass. And in the end, this happened, pass. And the very end, this happened. And then everyone's got their own story. So if you open it up, it's really crazy. You can do this where you roll a dice. This will be rolling the dice 3 times. So once for the character, once for the setting, and once for the problem. And you can see there's all different problems and settings and characters. And you could do a 5-minute turnaround. We talked about here that you can get sites like this, which will bring up the times. Maybe you could have some students on a longer time. You can have different timers on this site. So some will be doing a 10-minute, a deeper level, up to you. Then we talked about genre, which is like doing a narrative, which is telling about something. Procedural, which is explaining how to do something. Argument or persuasive essay, persuading people to believe this. But basically, for all this writing to be effective, you need to be able to research it, create it, basically using word maps, pitch it to the right tone, which is register, so the right level, formal or informal. If it's an email, it's informal-ish. Letter, cover letter, for example, be more formal. Punctuation, grammar, spelling, organised, structure. Organised meaning how you actually have put your sentences, so they're all, for example, you could have like pro and then anti, so the contra side and the pro side, or you could have pro, and then anti, but have it so it's all the same way throughout. And structure meaning the actual paragraphs. You have the topic sentence, supporting sentence, and conclusive sentence, or concluding. and engaging. And negative meaning, you don't say, I don't think this, I think this. Instead, you say, it is thought or it is believed. Using the passive. So it's called to tone down or to make it a bit professional sounding. When you do academic writing, we don't use I, personal pronouns. We put it in the third person. And more activities which we looked into, we're using teaching writing tasks. And an example of a unit of work, which only is if you're working with another teacher and that teacher's doing a topic that the students are finding particularly challenging, then you can mix this in your EAL class. You need to have a learning intention all the time when you do a unit of work. So, for example, to understand different forms of nuclear or different forms of energy, and you can go into 1 week nuclear energy, second solar, third. Yeah. And this is all about unit of work. And then we had a section about, once again, doing an essay type thing where you pre-write it, research it, draft it, revise, edit, and hand in. And this is a teaching learning cycle. So the joint construction stage is the most important, where you break down each paragraph. So do a little bit of time on introductory paragraphs, supporting and concluding, and how to paraphrase. So whatever the topic is, for example, should we have nuclear energy in Australia? So you can think of other words for energy, another way to describe nuclear, or genetic testing should be banned. So another word for banned, meaning stopped. The paraphrase is to use the words differently, to use the synonyms. And if you're doing really like IELTS level, I'd be sending the essay beforehand, an example of what I want them to write. Then we talk about that knowledge, just engage in the schemata, where you talk about what we will be doing and have them predict what they think they'll learn. That's supposedly a better way for them to remember it later if they predict what they think they might learn. And then you model the text. That's when you do the joint construction. And then teacher will go around giving prompts, helping them once they've started writing through their little paragraphs. And then you let them on their way doing individual, which I think you should be done at night and send it overnight. So if you want to engage them, engaging the schemata, building the knowledge, you can do the KWL activity where what I know, what I want to know, and what I've learned in the past. So maybe at some school they studied nuclear energy, so they could put that here. And modelling the text, there's a video you can watch here. And joint construction, independent construction. And when we do an essay, students in Australia, they call this T, which is topic, not point, but you have TEEL. So the teacher will say, don't remember, you need to use TEAL. Don't forget to use TEAL, which means you have the topic sentence, then you back it up with evidence, you explain the evidence, and then you link it back to what you're writing about. And we did about correcting. We don't want to actually write the word because we want them to think about the mistake. So we just write SV for subject verb, not meeting, not for green, PL for plural, or SG for singular, CAP for capitalisation. So an example like that. So this 2 is just TO, but it should be TOO. So you write SP. And lots of websites you can go to. Then we talked about what we're doing next week, resource file, week after. 2 weeks of resource file. Then 2 weeks for elective. There's 6 electives, so I need to put in your TOS so you get a choice of all 6, which one you want to do. And then we have 2 weeks holidays, and then we start up again, but hopefully face-to-face on the 25th. But we have a meet-up on the 4th. And that was the references. And that was the end of our lesson for today. Thank you very much. I'll put this on the YouTube site for you to all look at again if you forget what we've done sometime. Okay, thank you.